It would not be possible to speak on integral yoga as stress management without touching at least on meditation, because you work from the gross to the subtle. And certainly if you want to have an effective practice of stress management, meditation is one of the greatest ways of cutting through the mental level of stress. After you've taken care of the physical and developed many of these attitudes of detachment, distancing yourself, pouring love and contentment into the mind, generally balancing out the waves in the mind, this can be carried to the deepest degree through the practice of meditation. And after you have done a Hatha Yoga session, followed by deep relaxation and breathing practices, you feel so great that you pretty naturally can sink into a deep state of communing with the inner self, of turning the mind inward to really, for those moments, experience yourself as the witness, watching this whole incredible drama, as the peaceful, joyful self, no matter what else is going on in the body and the mind. And if you practice regularly over time, your life tends to be the opposite of what it was before. Very often we come into our yoga practice and the surface of our life might go through periods of happiness and joy followed by despondency and depression, but underneath it all is this out of sortsness, right? Underneath it all there's this feeling of being out of sync with oneself and with the universe, and an uneasiness or a deep unhappiness. Over years and years of yoga practice and of really integrating the attitudes of Patanjali Yoga Sutras and integral yoga, it completely reverses. You may have all kinds of difficulties and troubles on the surface, followed by all kinds of lovely things that happen. But underneath it is this deep and abiding sense of peace and joy, of oneness, of trust, and of feeling over and over again like there is some divine hand coming in and taking care of you. Like there's some divine plan, and that your suffering and misery can be turned into compassion for others, can be turned into an opportunity to grow and experience yourself on an ever deeper level. And the practice of meditation, of daily taking a little time to turn the mind in and calm it down and open oneself up to the experience of the self, is the most transforming practice of all. Your Hatha Yoga practice pretty naturally will lead you into that state. And there is just one last parting thought I would like to leave with you. And that is, yoga is as yoga does. You may feel, wow, this is so great. I'm going to start this tomorrow. And I highly recommend that you do. But I also recommend that you make up your mind right now to set a small, realizable goal for yourself and stick with it. If you say, I'm going to do an hour a day, and you have 5 kids and 2 full-time jobs, you're kind of setting yourself up for failure. Whereas if you say, I won't go to bed until I've done at least 5 minutes of meditation and 1 yoga posture, chances are you'll do it, right? Chances are that if you get in bed and you think, oops, forgot, you'll roll over, don't even get out of bed, do 1 cobra, lie back down, say, there, I did my hatha. Maybe sit up in bed and do 5 minutes of meditation. Now that sounds silly, I know. But the fact of the matter is, if you do that cobra, it'll probably feel so good that you'll flip over and do a full forward bend in bed. Maybe even a shoulder stand. I know people who do it. And follow it up with a few minutes of remembering who you are and what life is really all about. And then sleep like a baby, having dropped a lot of the tension of the day. And as you grow to really respect that 5-minute habit, it will feel so good that you find that it's worth giving up 15 minutes of sleep. And then you'll find, why should I end the day this way? Why don't I start the day with 15 minutes of this? I'll feel so much better all day long. And without ever changing your vow to do one Hatha Yoga pose and 5 minutes of meditation, before you know it, you'll have a regular practice that really is long enough to make a difference. The other thing about making that kind of a vow is, if you have a habit every day, when you get up on a certain day, chances are you're going to do it. If you have a habit of only doing it once in a while for an hour on any given day, chances are you're not going to do it. So just the habit of making a vow with your will and knowing you'll stick to it is also a very, very great way to accomplish any goal in lifetime, including this, your greatest goal of being totally, completely, and unshakably beyond stress. So, dear and beloved friends and family, I wish all of you this freedom from stress, and that you all will practice the greatness of integral yoga every single day, and we'll have a date in a year and get together and tell each other how we did. Thank you very much. Om Shanti.